Deion Sanders isn't just cheering from the sidelines. He's moving chess pieces behind the scenes. As his son Shedeur inches closer to an NFL debut, Deion's involvement has become impossible to ignore. This isn't about nepotism. It's legacy in motion. Deion has leveraged his influence, his brand, and his belief in Shedeur's talent to press for a moment the entire league is watching.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
And in Cleveland, where dysfunction often overshadows potential, that moment could redefine a franchise. But as anticipation peaks, so does tension, especially for Dillon Gabriel, the veteran now sidelined and seething, as ownership pivots sharply towards spectacle and renewal. This isn't a normal QB switch. It's a full-scale franchise shift fueled by business, legacy, and branding. Shedeur's debut is being shaped not by a coach's quiet decision-making, but by Jimmy Haslam's aggressive marketing calculus. The pressure isn't just on Sanders to perform. It's on Kevin Stefanski to survive a spotlight he never asked for. Between Gabriel's benching and Deion's looming influence, the Browns aren't just managing quarterbacks. They're navigating a high-stakes storm that could rewrite Cleveland's future. So, it finally happened. After weeks of whispers, cryptic pressers, and enough fan speculation to power an entire NFL subreddit, Dillon Gabriel has been benched. And yes, Shedeur Sanders is that close to taking the field for Cleveland Browns. If you thought this was going to be a typical quarterback shuffle, you've been living under a helmet. This isn't just a football decision. It's legacy, branding, power struggles, and pure chaos, all rolled into one perfectly unstable package. And at the center of it, Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion, face of the hype, and the spark the franchise has clearly been aching for. But let's rewind, because this meltdown has been brewing beneath the surface for weeks. Dillon Gabriel was never really the long-term plan. He was a placeholder, a veteran arm meant to keep things afloat, while the real star-in-waiting got acclimated. But try telling that to Gabriel. From the start, he carried himself like this was his team, despite the fact that ownership, the fans, and let's be honest, reality, were eyeing Shedeur as a future. The writing was on the wall, and everyone saw it but him. As Shedeur's profile continued to grow, the tension only got worse. Coach Kevin Stefanski played it cool, keeping things under wraps, sticking with Gabriel while the pressure cooker hissed from every direction. The strategy? Delay Shedeur's debut just long enough to control the narrative. But there was a problem. He couldn't, because Jimmy Haslam, the Browns' owner, wasn't exactly playing the slow game. While Stefanski paced the sidelines, Haslam was in the shadows building a brand. To him, Shedeur Sanders wasn't just a quarterback. He was a ticket to merchandise, to stadium hype, to viral clips and media buzz. Shedeur was the Browns' golden goose, and Haslam wanted those eggs now. Every passing game Gabriel started was a missed marketing opportunity. The fans knew it. The media knew it. The memes? Relentless. The countdowns? Already in motion. Cleveland wasn't just anticipating Shedeur. They were demanding him. And Gabriel? Let's just say he did not take it well. Reports of his frustration started leaking. Heated conversations behind closed doors. Side-eyed glances during practice. He wasn't benched quietly. This was loud. Public. Personal. And while Stefanski tried to keep a lid on it, the pot had already boiled over. Because what we're really watching here isn't just a quarterback switch. It's a tug-of-war between control and spectacle. Stefanski wants time. Haslam wants headlines. And somewhere in the middle, Shedeur Sanders is waiting, helmet in hand, poised to step into a moment that's been engineered down to the last second. And let's be clear, Deion Sanders didn't raise his son to ride the bench. His voice in this saga has been impossible to ignore. He's not just Shedeur's dad. He's a brand architect, a strategist, a former superstar who understands the power of image better than anyone. And right now, he's using every ounce of influence to make sure this debut isn't just about stats. It's about history. Deion's presence in Cleveland has been strategic, vocal. He's been pushing for this shot not out of emotion, but because he knows what this moment means. For his son, sure, but also for the legacy he's been building brick by brick. This is more than football. It's generational branding. And he's not going to let fear or coaching hesitation get in the way. Stefanski, meanwhile, is stuck in a no-win scenario. Keep Gabriel, and the offense keeps sputtering. Start Shedeur too soon, and you risk looking like a pawn of ownership. It's the kind of pressure that breaks coaches. And right now, he's hanging on by a thread. Behind the scenes, this isn't strategy. It's survival. Stefanski knows the second Shedeur steps onto the field, the spotlight shifts permanently. He loses control of the narrative. He becomes a guy who finally listened to ownership, not the guy who led the team. That's why he's dragged his feet. That's why Shedeur, despite being the clear answer, has been stuck watching from the sideline. But that clock is run out. Because when the entire city is chanting for one player and the owner is eyeing a multi-million-dollar merch wave, you don't get to play conservative. You don't get to delay destiny. And make no mistake, Shedeur's debut is going to be a moment, not just for the Browns, but for the entire league. This isn't just about Gabriel being benched. It's about a team on the verge of transformation, about a franchise finally leaning into what the modern NFL really is, a media-driven, personality-led spectacle. And Shedeur, he's tailor-made for this world. He's polished, he's hungry, and most importantly, he's ready. The coaching hesitation, the delayed rollout, the scripted practice reps. It's all been a slow walk to the inevitable. Gabriel was never the guy. He was a safety net. And when you're building a brand, you don't build it on safe. You build it on stars. Of course, not everyone agrees. Some analysts still cling to the Shedeur isn't ready narrative. But let's be honest, this isn't about readiness anymore. It's about momentum. About knowing when the market, the media, and the fans have all aligned for a seismic shift. And that's where we are. The Browns front office might say it's just football, but come on. Look at the rollout. Look at the timing. This isn't a coincidence. It's a carefully orchestrated move, right as media hype reaches its peak and the team desperately needs a spark. You don't get this kind of buzz twice. If you're going to unleash a Sanders, now's the time. And Gabriel? He's furious. Sources say the locker room has been tense, that he feels betrayed, that he wasn't given a real chance to lead. But here's the truth. He had time, and the offense went nowhere. He wasn't benched because he failed. He was benched because someone better was waiting. The Sanders name doesn't just bring expectations. It brings results. And if you think Dillon hasn't been in Shedeur's ear, coaching him through every political layer of this moment, you haven't been paying attention. This debut is business, family, and football all colliding in one massive play. The fans already know what time it is. The jerseys are selling. The tweets are flying. The city is ready. All that's left is for Stefanski to get out of the way. Because this isn't about sticking to a cautious game plan anymore. It's about capturing lightning and making sure it strikes in prime time. And for the Browns, this is more than a quarterback change. It's a signal that the old era is done, that the future isn't just coming. It's already standing on the sideline, helmet on, spotlight blazing. So here we are. Gabriel's benched. Shedeur's ready. And the whole league is watching. Will it work? No one knows for sure. But the risk of doing nothing was bigger. The fans wanted a change. The owner demanded a shift. And the media? They've already moved on to the next chapter. Now it's Shedeur's turn to write it. If you're hyped for this debut, or if you've been yelling at your screen waiting for this exact moment, drop your take in the comments. Is this the move Cleveland needed? Or are we headed for a whole new kind of chaos? Either way, you know it's going to be messy, dramatic, and absolutely unmissable. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe. Because if this is how the season is starting, just wait until the sparks really start flying. The shift is happening right in front of us. And it's not subtle. The moment Dillon Gabriel was benched, everything in Cleveland's quarterback room cracked wide open. Not just a lineup, but the dynamic, the power structure, the future. You could feel it in the air, from the way reporters circled practice like sharks, to the way Shedeur's name started trending before anyone even said out loud. There was no announcement needed. The city felt it. Gabriel was done. The Sanders era had officially begun. And the truth? It never really mattered how ready Shedeur was. because this was never about stats. It was about inevitability. The Browns didn't draft a future media icon just to tuck him behind a clipboard while the offense limped along. They drafted a headline, a leader, a brand, and they're cashing in. Gabriel's frustration is understandable, but it's also irrelevant. He got caught in the tidal wave of something bigger than performance. He's not just losing a starting spot. He's getting swallowed whole by a media machine that was always going to crown Shedeur whether he liked it or not. Meanwhile, Stefanski's grip on this team is slipping. Slowly, publicly, painfully. The longer he resisted the shift, the more isolated he became. Ownership wants Shedeur. The fans definitely want Shedeur. And the players? Let's just say they've seen enough overthrows and third down stalls to be curious, very curious, about what a real dual-threat QB can do. But Stefanski has played this like a man trying to survive, not lead. He's tried to stall the inevitable under the banner of strategy. He's talked about maturity, system knowledge, game speed, all the usual coach-speak roadblocks. But none of that matters when a franchise's entire future is sitting on a bench, ready to detonate on national television. There's a moment in every team's timeline when branding overtakes tradition, when excitement becomes more valuable than experience, when hype, dangerous, loud, unpredictable hype, becomes the plan. Cleveland just hit that moment. Jimmy Haslam knows exactly what he's doing. He's watched other teams turn quarterbacks into empires. He's seen what one dynamic player can do for merchandise, media rights, and national exposure. And with Shedeur, he's not just betting on talent. He's betting on spectacle. And honestly, it's a smart bet. Because whether or not Shedeur wins games right away, he wins attention. And that's currency. In this league, eyeballs are everything. You don't just want fans, you want a following. And Shedeur has that built in. From his Colorado run, from the Sanders name, from every viral post his dad's ever made, he doesn't have to earn the spotlight. He is the spotlight. And Gabriel? He never stood a chance in that arena. He's solid, sure, but solid doesn't sell jerseys. Solid doesn't trend. Solid doesn't fill stadiums when the season gets rough. That's the brutal part. Gabriel didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't do anything marketable. And in 2025, that's the difference between starting on Sunday or watching from the sidelines. The tension between Stefanski and Haslam has been brewing for weeks. The quiet whispers, the anonymous leaks, the disagreements over game strategy. It's been a cold war between football and business, and the scoreboard is starting to lean corporate. And Stefanski knows it. Every cautious delay, every vague answer in press conferences, every half smile when Shedeur's name comes up, it all reads like a man trying to hold back a flood with duct tape, because the decision isn't his anymore. Not really. Ownership has made the call. The fans have made the call. And the narrative has already left it behind. The only thing Stefanski can do now is try to act like this was his plan all along. Try to pretend that giving Shedeur the reins was a strategic pivot, not a forced hand. But let's not sugarcoat it. This was a power move. Haslam played the long game. He waited until public opinion shifted, until the offense stalled just enough, until Gabriel looked just shaky enough, and then he pulled the string. And now, all eyes are on Shedeur. And this spotlight? It's ruthless. The expectations are sky high. Not because Shedeur promised anything, but because his arrival has been mythologized. This isn't just a debut, it's a coronation. And if he delivers even a hint of magic on that field, the fan base won't just cheer. They'll erupt. The whole franchise will shift. But the stakes are brutal. If he falters, the critics will circle. The "he wasn't ready" crowd will howl. Stefanski's defenders will smugly remind everyone of the risks. And Haslam? He'll pivot again, because billionaires don't apologize, they rebrand. That's the gamble. The Browns aren't just starting a new QB, they're launching a new identity. And Shedeur is the face. Deion Sanders, of course, is watching this all unfold like a chess player 3 moves ahead. He's been here before. He knows how this works. And his involvement hasn't just been emotional. It's been tactical. From public comments to subtle endorsements, he's been shaping this moment for months. Not by screaming from the rooftops, but by steadily amplifying the expectation. He understands what this means, not just for his son, but for his legacy. Dillon has turned his name into a brand, and now he's building the next generation of it, on the biggest stage possible. So while Stefanski tries to make it look like football strategy and Hassan pretends this is just business as usual, Dillon knows the truth. This is a PR machine, and it's finally going live. And Shedeur, all he has to do is show up. That might sound like pressure, but it's also power. He doesn't have to win the Super Bowl in his first snap. He just has to prove he belongs. And frankly, he's already done more than Gabriel did with months of starts, without even touching the field. That's the wild part. Shedeur's presence alone has changed the tone in Cleveland. There's a buzz again, a feeling, not just hope, excitement. The kind you can't fake. The kind you don't get with safe quarterback play and 17-10 finishes. This is big, and the Browns know it, because this isn't just a football story. It's a case study in how sports and spectacle have merged. It's about how branding and business now shape the plays before they even happen. And Shedeur? He's walking into that storm with cameras, critics, and corporate interests all watching. Gabriel may have worn the jersey, but Shedeur is the franchise now. And let's be honest, this moment was never going to wait. So now, with the entire league watching, the Browns are stepping into a new era. One shaped not just by touchdowns and tackles, but by tweets, trends, and TV deals. The old way of doing things, slow, strategic, quiet, that's over. This is loud. This is fast. This is high-stakes entertainment, dressed up as football. And in this new reality, Shedeur Sanders isn't just ready. He's necessary. That electric, spine-tingling anticipation, the kind that hits a city like a lightning bolt right before everything changes. That's where Cleveland is right now, teetering on the edge of something massive, something that could either become a franchise-defining era or a chaotic implosion. And all of it rides on one name, Shedeur Sanders. Let's not downplay it. This isn't just a quarterback change. It's a tectonic shift. You don't bench your starter midseason. Throw your most hyped rookie into the fire and pretend like this is just another game plan adjustment. This is an organizational statement. This is the Browns saying, we're done waiting. The future starts now. And the timing? Oh, it's no accident. This didn't happen because Dillon Gabriel had one bad game. It happened because everything around the team demanded it. Ownership couldn't wait another week. The fan base was getting restless, borderline hostile. The media frenzy was boiling over. And then there's the Shedeur effect, this gravitational pull he has, where even thinking about him starting boosts energy in the building. He hasn't thrown an NFL pass yet, and already he's dictating headlines. Already he's reshaping narratives. Already he's worth more than Gabriel could deliver on his best day. And let's talk about Gabriel briefly. The reports of him being furious? Completely believable. He's a competitor. He's a veteran. He didn't come to Cleveland to play babysitter to the heir apparent. But this isn't college anymore. This is the NFL. If you're not producing, you're replaceable. And the moment his throws stopped moving the offense, his leadership stopped matching. This isn't to say Gabriel was a disaster. He wasn't, but he was safe, predictable, the kind of guy who keeps you in games but never takes over. And in today's NFL, that's not enough. Not when there's a player on your roster with the star power and raw potential of Shedeur. Cleveland didn't want another just okay season. They've been living in that purgatory for decades. They want fire. They want swagger. They want someone who doesn't just lead a huddle, but makes everyone pay attention. And Shedeur, that's exactly who he is. Even on the sidelines, the camera finds him. Even in warm-ups, fans lean in. There's a reason his jersey is flying off shelves, and it's not because people want to support a rookie backup. It's because they know he's next. They're just waiting for the game to catch up to the narrative. And speaking of narrative, can we talk about Dillon? Because Dillon Sanders didn't just influence this from afar. He shaped it. He manufactured it. Every time he spoke about Shedeur's readiness, about his leadership, about what he brings to the league, he wasn't just talking to reporters. He was talking to ownership, to coaches, to fans. He was laying the groundwork for this exact moment. And now, here we are. The cameras are locked in. The media is frothing. And Stefanski? He looks like a man who's finally realized he doesn't get to call the big shots anymore. That's the cost of resisting too long. When you hesitate during a movement, you don't just lose control, you lose relevance. He had chances to roll Shedeur out gradually, build buzz on his own terms, maybe even frame it like it was his plan. But he waited too long. Now the story belongs to Haslam, to Dillon, to the fans, and Shedeur walks into it like it's already his. And maybe that's the craziest part. He doesn't look like a rookie waiting for a shot. He looks like he's already been here. Like the league just needs to catch up. That confidence? It's not manufactured. It's not arrogance. It's preparation. It's upbringing. It's the benefit of growing up in the spotlight, with a father who taught him that expectations aren't pressure, they're fuel. Shedeur's not scared of the moment. He's been bred for it. And this moment, it's so much bigger than football. It's business. It's legacy. It's a cultural shift in how NFL teams operate. You're watching in real time a franchise pivot from conservative strategy to full-blown narrative engineering, from play it safe to let's go viral. And they're doing it on purpose, because this is the kind of move that gets national attention, that lands you primetime slots, that draws new fans from across the country. Cleveland knows this. Haslam knows this. And now, finally, they're leaning into it instead of fighting it. Of course, the pressure is insane. Shedeur won't just be expected to perform. He'll be expected to transform. The offense, the locker room, the perception of the franchise. And yeah, that's a lot for anyone. But this isn't just anyone. This is a guy who's been dissected on social media since high school, who led Colorado through a national media circus, who's dealt with comparisons, critiques, and constant noise, and still came out looking like the only one in control. So while others may flinch at the spotlight, Shedeur steps into it like he's been waiting his whole life. And the Browns? If they're smart, they'll let him cook. No conservative play calls. No leash. No ease him in nonsense. That's not what this is. This is a statement. You don't launch a new era with checkdowns and QB draws. You let him throw. You let him lead. And when he makes that first big play, when the stadium erupts and Twitter goes nuclear, it won't just be validation. It'll be ignition. Because Shedeur isn't coming to save the season. He's coming to own it. And everyone who fought this move, everyone who said he wasn't ready, or that Gabriel deserved more time, or that it's too soon, they're going to have to watch as the entire city of Cleveland turns toward one man, one name, and one goal. Change everything. So buckle up. Because no matter what happens on the scoreboard, this debut is going to be unforgettable. And something tells me it's just the beginning. If you've been waiting for a real spark, if you're ready to see this franchise finally step into a new era, now's your moment. Let's hear what you think. Are the Browns finally getting it right? Or are they flying too close to the sun? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Light up that like button and hit subscribe, because the Shedeur Sanders Show is just getting started. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.